Hello everyone and welcome back to Agent Nagash, which is a channel dedicated to Age of Sigmar, and this is just going to be a quick video looking over the Warhammer Community article that's came out about the new General's Handbook for this year. Yes, there's been a bit of a wait because of obviously everything going on in the world right now, but General's Handbook 2020 is on track to be on pre-order this weekend coming, I believe. So I haven't read through this article of theirs yet, so I thought I'd do a video on it and sort of show you my thoughts. I read through and see what we're going to get in the new General's Handbook. Cool. So the first thing they say is a new year of gaming in the mortal realm awaits. The General's Handbook 2020 is back on track with this year's essential annual for gamers of all stripes on pre-order this weekend. But just what will you find in the new edition? Today we're going to find out. Okay, so firstly what we have here is a picture of the front cover of the General's Handbook. Now, it's very similar to the last two General's Handbooks we've had. We can see that this is a format they're just going to stick to every year. Haven't really got a problem with it. It's got some sort of Griff Charger type thing with Gamma Raz on it. Last year, I believe it was blue, and the year before it was orange, and this year it's purpley. So, yep, that's all cool. Nice front cover. And then we go on to the contents page. It says, this year's General's Handbook is packed as ever with good stuff. Just take a peek at the contents page. So, essentially, we're not going to dive loads into what we got on this contents page. A few, coders that are out there, you guys might be able to decipher very specific things they've mentioned here, but I'm just going to take a quick scan through, essentially. So we've got the player's code to start with, which is straightforward. Be a nice guy, be a nice human being. And then we have open play stuff, so a lot for there. That's cool, because it is nice of them to expand on open play, as that's... For me, it's a type of way to play the game that I don't really see very much anymore, ever since they brought points in. So it's good that they're still maintaining that. Narrative battles is something I am interested in, so that's cool there. Looking at this, you've got open play, and compared to the rest, compared to narrative, I was going to say, match play goes all the way down here as well, doesn't it? But compared to narrative, it's quite big. So that's cool. Narrative battles, yep, that is good. Match play, a lot of battle plans, and meeting engagements for 2020, so it's good that they're keeping that up. And then Conquest Unbound, obviously. So that's all good there. It then says, we'll be taking a look into some of the content above in more detail later in the week. But first, a chat with the team behind the book. Okay, so I'm going to play this at the end of the video because it's not a massive article, so I just want to read through it. And it's cool they're going to be taking a more detailed look into the General's Handbook. So when I can, I will hopefully be able to do a video for it when they do these community articles. Try and keep on top of these things for you guys. Okay, so the next thing they talk about is multiplayer battles. So they say exciting, huh? So it's hard to choose what the best part of this year's General's Handbook is. But one change that's sure to affect every player is the new multiplayer rules. In Coalition of Death, 3 or more players can take part in thrilling team games where they compete as unfiend. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Apologies about that. Groups called coalitions. If you're looking to fight legendary battles, where your bonds or friendships are just as important as your army, this could be the game for you. So it says Coalition of Death is designed for all 3 types of play. You can, for instance, use the open play rules to generate thrilling multiplayer battle plans. Match play gamers, meanwhile, can look forward to an expanded set of rules that ensure their Coalitions of Death are as balanced as possible. Indeed, there's a whole new coalition matrix designed to determine the strength of your allegiance. Here it is, get planning. So, again, this is kind of Coalition of Death. I haven't really played it too much, to be honest, but it's kind of adds a narrative into... Well, it says anyway you can play this game narrative, open play, and match play. But for the match play games, it nicely adds in a narrative, and it helps to build, multiplayer campaigns and stuff. So, this chart is cool. I'm sure Pierre's going to explain this more in detail, but just from a view, it means that when you're teaming up with your buddies to fight your other Warhammer gamers, it's going to see how strong your allegiance is, basically. So we have no coalition possible. So as you can see here by the abbreviations and the armies listed here, it means like Stormcast Eternals, for example, can't join a coalition with Slaves Darkness under any circumstance. Just wouldn't happen in this circumstance here. Fire Slayers is an interesting one because they can actually ally with quite a lot of things. Obviously, if it's a desperate coalition, I presume that's not going to be as strong as a Battleforge coalition. And then you obviously have things from like very, very black and not really going to ally with much other themselves, like Chaos and some Order stuff. But then Death and Destruction are quite mixed. They're kind of like Factious Coalition or Desperate Coalition, so they can ally with a lot of stuff, but probably it's not going to be the strongest allegiance. Okay, so and then let's just see them set in a lot probably better format here. So it says army that are close allies will be able to coordinate better in battle, while more factious groupings such as desperate coalitions between the Slates of Darkness and the Ostrich Bone Reapers will treat each other as enemy units for the purpose of movement. These alliances cut across the Grand Alliances and are based on factions lore. The Fire Slayers, for instance, will fight with pretty much anyone, but don't trust elves much. Likewise, the Iron Jaws will team up with most factions, while the Followers of Chaos will rarely, if ever, battle alongside their mortal enemies in order. So yeah, that's cool. And like I was mentioned about the Fire Slayers, they are essentially the mercenaries of Age of Sigmar, so it's cool that they can do what they want. They did try and, like, I think there still is a thing where like Flesh Eater Courts are mercenaries, but obviously not as, looking at all those reds, not as strong as the Fire Slayers. Okay, so it then says, if you're looking for a twist on your regular games or a fun theme for an event at your club or with some friends, Coalition of Death will be brilliant for you. And then it says, we'll be back later this week, blah, 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 to talk more about this General's Handbook. So I think, like, in this article, basically, the big thing, the video here as well, we'll go to in a second, but the big thing is talking about Coalition of Death, which I'll be honest, like I say, I don't know huge about it, as it was in the last General's Handbook, but not nearly as big as they're showing off here. So I'm excited to learn more about this. I love things like a table and stuff. It just shows, like, influenced by the lore, what armies would work well to, together on a table. And I like it, things, it's not just like lore-wise, they don't work well together, but on the table, that doesn't really mean anything. It means, like, for example, when they said Slaves of Darkness and Ostrich Bone Reapers on a team, they'll treat each other as enemies for movement. So that's pretty cool. So you can't move within 3 inches of each other because of combat range stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how else it impacts those games. So the last thing I want to go into is the video. So what I'm going to do is just let it play out, and then I'll mention a few things at the end.
To open play, narrative play.
Let's skip it to the beginning for some reason.
Every year we release the General's Handbook. It's an update to open play, narrative play, and match play, and it's really it's the pillar of gaming that you need to carry you forward for the next 12 months.
When I worked on the new General's Handbook, I concentrated on the open play section of the book, which has a complete game that you can play with your flying models and an expanded section of open play battle generator tables. The standalone game in the General's Handbook is called Skies of Slaughter. What it allows you to do is take one or more flying monsters generally, but you can play with any type of flying creature, and then fight aerial battles against them. Now, one of the cool things about it is that you can play with loads of players. You can have a whole group of players together, and each one can take one flying creature, and you can have these huge kinds of like aerial combats between them. Another cool thing about it is that it's got a complete campaign system. So you start out as what's called a fledgling, and as you play the aerial battles, which are quite quick, you can play through one in about half an hour or so, you get experience, and your flying creature will get better and better and learn new skills and be able to do tricks and tactics in future games. So you can link all of your games together and see whether you can become a master of the skies.
So for this year's General's Handbook, I was responsible for looking after the match play section, which included new Realm of Battle rules, new Auxiliary Objective rules, and new Coalition of Death rules. The best thing about the new Realm of Battle rules is that players can really focus on the setting for each battle that they will know ahead of time. So no longer are you going to have to consider a different result for every time you play in a realm. You know exactly what you're getting. You can plan ahead, and you can really adapt your army to how, what you know is coming, essentially. So, Coalition of Death expands on the narrative section that Sam Pearson came up with for this year's General's Handbook. It provides a wealth of new rules for team battles, essentially. In particular, it provides a suite of rules that allows factions across the Age of Sigmar range to fight side by side in a pitched battle setting.
So in this General's Handbook, I worked on the narrative play content. So that includes lots of rules about team battles. It's got a campaign, a map campaign within called the Whisper Engine, and it's got the Anvil of Apotheosis, which is a character creator where you're going to be building a hero's war scroll from scratch. So the Anvil of Apotheosis is a hero creator, so you're going to be put in the Sigmarite clad shoes of Sigmar himself, and you're going to be forging your own mighty heroes. So the possibilities are really almost limitless with this character creator. So you'll be able to first set a budget of how many destiny points you're going to be spending on your hero. You'll get to choose any of the 23 ancestries that we've got inside the book. So that is things like human, elf, Bulgur, Dwarden, Ossiarch Bone Reaper, Skaven, almost everything. You'll get to choose if they're going to be a wizard, and there are a choice of spells to go from, if they're going to be a priest, if they're going to have command abilities, and maybe the most exciting part, you'll get to choose if they're going to have a bestial companion. This can be anything from a small Gryph-hound up to a horse, up to a Pegasus, up to a dragon, anything that your imagination wants. The Whisper Engine is it's a map campaign for 3 to 7 players, but it's one with a twist. So it's set in Shamon, and in this area there is a landmark that's been twisted by Tzeentch that sort of dominates this area of Shamon. Everyone in the vicinity of this landmark, they cannot help but sort of plot against one another. So the reason this map campaign is different to the ones we've done before, and what makes it exciting, is that rather than playing individual battles each round, all of the players gather together and have a big team battle. Now, on the map, if you want to conquer an adjacent territory that's controlled by another player, you'll need to make sure that they're on the opposing team and you win the battle. So before each battle, players will get to bid to decide which armies are going to be on each side. And even before the bidding starts, I can imagine there's going to be lots of secret discussions held between the different players. So it's going to be lots of fun for everybody involved.
So that is their little video for the General's Handbook. Now, obviously, there's quite a few things you can dive in there, especially how they're changing the way how artifacts work and realms work, which is very much will be impactful on those games, especially tournament games. So it'll be interesting to see how that's going to transform the gaming setting and also the gaming meta. The thing I want to talk about though from that video, what I found interesting, was the fact that there's going to be like a character generator or a model generator, like they say, where you can, if you want to. I am massively into converting and kit bashing, which you guys may know if you've seen some of my other stuff. And the one thing that I've kind of always wanted was a way to convert your own model to whatever you wanted it to be, essentially, and really go wild within the Age of Sigmar setting. But until this new General's Handbook, by the looks of things, it's always been a matching your kit bash to fit a war scroll, which I have enjoyed, but it's cool. Well, it looks like here you've got like a character generator where you can do their own war scroll, and because there's like kind of like, I don't know their match play points, but there's points allocated to how you build your character, so you can't just make a amazing character that will just wipe out everyone. You can't just make loads of like Gotreks and stuff like that. There is going to be a way to organise it better so it's more balanced. What would be cool, and just being able to decide you guys have your character has different mounts, your model, or like a companion, like a Gryph-hound, it said, or hopefully a Direwolf, something that'd be cool. Yeah, I think that's really cool, and that's what I take away from that video. So, all right, guys, well, that's it. It's just literally simply a quick video, this one, and as like I do when these screen record and stuff, I can't essentially edit it and stuff, so that's much. So apologies if there was mistakes in pronouncing words and all that sort of thing. But well, with that, guys, I want to thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you're excited for the General's Handbook like I am. It'll be an interesting one because I'll be buying the General's Handbook, of course, but I haven't really got any games lined up because obviously, well, here in the UK with lockdown and stuff, it's not the easiest thing to do at the moment. But I will thoroughly enjoy reading through that General's Handbook for sure. So, like I say, guys, if you enjoy the video, please like, subscribe and comment down below. massively does help. If you do want to support the channel a little bit further, I've got a Patreon, which there will be a link to in the description. You're more than welcome to check out. It's a great way to support the channel, and you can get some bonuses from doing that as well. I do want to thank a couple of patrons who joined up lately. So we have Luke, and we also have, I believe, AW77. Apologies, that's a little bit pronounced wrong, but thank you very much, guys, for your help. It really does help me make as many videos as I can and as often I can. So thank you so much for that. It keeps me going. And thank you to all my current patrons as well before that. So until next time, guys, remember, stay safe, wash your hands, keep hygienic, and until next time, Nagash is all, and all is one in Nagash.